Please go subscribe to the Rumble channel for Franchise Sports TV under the name FSTV22. Now, I'm using that Rumble channel for any purposes of me getting kicked off YouTube and also for more of my spicier joints. It's free as well. I have the freedom to say whatever I want to say as well. So go subscribe to FSTV22. That is Franchise Sports TV 22 on Rumble. What's up, YouTube? Franchise Sports TV back again with another video and back again with another top 5 players of all time from every NBA team. So as we make our way from the capital down to the ATL, the Atlanta Hawks are next. I'm not going to go through all of the teams I've been through. I think last time I checked, I think I got 10 more teams to go. So we're finally getting through there. We're finally about to go on a western southern coast road trip. So anyways, I picked these teams, or these players I should say, by how they stand solo in NBA history and what they have done for that team. So like I said, we got the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks started out as actually the Buffalo Bisons in 1946 in Buffalo, New York, as a member of the National Basketball League. After 38 days, they moved to Moline, Illinois, when they was named the Tri-City Blackhawks. And then they joined the NBA as part of the merger between the NBL and the BAA. And they were moved to my old hometown, Milwaukee, changing their name to the Milwaukee Hawks. And then in 1955, they went to St. Louis. Won their first and only championship in St. Louis in 1958. And they moved from St. Louis to Atlanta on May 3rd, 1968, after the previous owner sold the franchise to a new owner, the former Georgia Governor Carl Sanders. And the Hawks are currently on the second longest drought behind the Kings of not winning an NBA championship at 64 seasons. Gee whiz. Wow. Only one championship in 1958. So anyways, let us begin. Now the Atlanta Hawks, actually I was talking with a subscriber of the previous video, the Washington Wizards. I said the Washington Wizards are a pit stop for most stars, as Moses Malone had some time there. Chris Webber, MJ, you know. But I would like to start off at the center position. One Dikembe Mutombo at the center position. Freaking name pop up here right quick. Here we go. Dikembe Mutombo was not drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Dikembe Mutombo was actually drafted by the Denver Nuggets, for people who don't know. In the 91 draft, first round, 4th overall pick out of Georgetown. He only played for the Denver Nuggets from 91 to 96. In 96, he would join the Atlanta Hawks, signing a 5-year, $55 million free agent contract with them. Instantly, could you say instantly, along with Steve Smith, led the Atlanta Hawks to back-to-back 50-plus win seasons in 96 at 56 and 26, 90s, and 97, 98, 50 and 32. DK won, let's see here, 3-time All-Defensive First Team, all with the Atlanta Hawks. I think it was along with the Atlanta Hawks. 3-time All-Defensive Second Team. 2 with the Atlanta Hawks, and the other one was Philly as well. Led in rebounding twice. Something that you don't see most big men even do anymore. Like that. 3-time NBA blocks leader. Actually, that was not with the Hawks. That was with Denver, actually. He is an 8-time All-Star. He got 3 All-Stars with the Atlanta Hawks. 1 more with the Hawks before he was, I think he was traded from from Atlanta to Philly. Yeah, he was traded in that 2001 trade deadline in February for Rashawn McLeod in exchange for Tony Kukoc. But anyways, moving on. He did win Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row. A big anchor of the front court for the Atlanta Hawks. They would, in the 97 playoffs, defeat the Pistons, where he led all scorers in rebounds, 26 points and 15 rebounds as well. He averaged a double-double in that series along with 2.6 blocks. But they would end up losing to the Chicago Bulls in 5 games. The next season, he put up 20 points and 24 rebounds. Jeez, he's just putting up big numbers. But he started to go, I wouldn't say he went into a downturn in the 99-2000 season. But he did have a career high in rebounds and led the league in rebounds at 14.1 per game in the 99-2000 season. And he did go 11 for 11 from shooting from the field, grabbing a season high of 29 rebounds and recording a game high of 6 blocks over a win over Minnesota. So that was pretty much his time with the Atlanta Hawks. For most of this time there, he played 82 games, 80 to 82 games. Never was a really big scorer. Scoring was not his forte. It was the rebound and playing defense, of course. So he averaged 14.1 rebounds twice, back-to-back years with Atlanta before he was traded to Philadelphia that same year. And after he left, he only played 2 seasons in Philly. When he went to New Jersey, now I forgot he played on the Knicks, and then he went to Houston, finished his career with Houston. He wasn't the same. I think Houston was hoping that he would be the same, but not be the same, but be a good backup to Yao Ming. I think his career high in points is 15.4 in the 97 playoffs. His regular season career points average was 16.6 his rookie year. So that's Dikembe Mutombo right there at the center position for the Atlanta Hawks. So at the power forward position is Bob Pettit. See, that's one thing I did not know about Bob Pettit. I thought he passed away a long time ago, but he's still kicking. I didn't know this. He's 90 this year. But Bob Pettit is probably one of the, I gotta say this, first big time power forwards, standing at 6'9". He was part of that 1958 championship with the St. Louis Hawks. It was St. Louis Hawks, but he only played. He was drafted in the first round in 1954 out of LSU. He's a Louisiana boy. First round, second overall pick by the Milwaukee Hawks from 1954 to 1965. So he only played in Milwaukee and St. Louis. He never played in Atlanta, but it's the Hawks. He's a 2-time NBA MVP, 1956 and 1959, 11-time All-Star, 1955 to 1965, 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, tied with Kobe, 1956, 1958, 59, and 62, 10-time All-NBA First Team, 1-time All-NBA Second Team. He also is a Rookie of the Year, 2-time NBA Scoring Champion, Rebounding Leader in 1956, and also part of the 25th, 35th, 50th, and 75th Anniversary Team. And number is retired with the Atlanta Hawks. I want to go back to Dikembe. His number is retired with the Hawks, number 55, as well as on Denver as well. He averaged 26 points a game, 16 rebounds a game and 3 assists, scoring over 20,000 points and getting over 12,000 rebounds. He is a Hall of Famer. He is in the College Hall of Fame as well. The records he do hold, let's see here, because I think he still holds a record of the highest points averaged by a power forward. Let's see here. Let's see here right quick. Try to look at all his records. Show me the records. But yeah, I think he still holds that. I think Giannis almost came close to breaking that record of the highest point. I think his is, let's see here. I can go to that year. So 31.1 points. That's his career average in points. Gee whiz. Out of 78 games and playing 42 minutes, Bob Pettit averaged 31 points, 31 points a game, 18 rebounds, and 3 assists in the 1961-62 season as part of the member of the St. Louis Hawks. And I think Giannis, let me check right quick, make this real quick. I think Giannis just missed it by, let's see here. So Giannis averaged how many points last year? Let's see here. So actually it tied. Giannis averaged 31 points, 31.1 points per game, got 11 rebounds. So Giannis is tied with him as the highest, tied with the highest points per game by a power forward. He could have broke it this year if he didn't miss so many games last year. But yeah, Bob Pettit, like most of these old players, they wasn't just one-dimensional. They can score, post up at the basket, back towards the basket, lay that sucker in there, and also get rebounds. Something that I would say is also a lost art these days. His highest rebound per average was 20 rebounds a game in the 1960-61 season as well. In the playoffs, in the 1963 season, he also had a career average playoff at 31.8 and get driving 15 rebounds. His highest rebound per average was 17.6 in the 1961, playing 12 games. But he only got one ring, and he's on one of the players. Let me see right quick. I know it's not dealing with the NBA, but he scored 60 in a college game. As well got 50 in the pro game. So that is Bob Pettit. Next on the list is, of course, Dominique Wilkins. Now, Dominique Wilkins probably should have been on, let's see here. Back. Hold on. Damn it, computer. Hold on right quick. Hold on. All right, so at the small forward position is Dominique Wilkins. Jordan, before Jordan came around, just much of a high flyer. I keep seeing these polls about the best dunker, and I see Vince Carter, MJ, of course, LeBron, or Kobe, or Aaron Gordon, but I don't see Dominique Wilkins on that list on these polls, or even Dr. J. It's crazy. But Dominique Wilkins, human highlight reel, as they call him. He was drafted out of Georgia in 1982, first round, third overall pick by the Utah Jazz. I think it was he didn't want to play Utah. That's right. He didn't want to play in Utah. They wanted him to play power forward, but he wanted to play small forward. But the Jazz was having cash trouble, so they traded him to Atlanta for John Drew and Fremont Williams and $1 million in cash. They say that trade is now considered among the most lopsided deals in NBA history, as Drew and Williams will only play a combined 4 seasons for the Jazz. Dominique Wilkins played for the Hawks from 1982 to 1994 before he was shipped to the Clippers for half a season, then Boston, and then finished his career. No, he went overseas for 1 year and then went to the San Antonio Spurs for a year, went back overseas, and then finished his career in 1999 with the Orlando Magic. He's a 9-time All-Star, All-NBA first team, 4-time All-NBA second team, 2-time All-NBA third team, rookie first team, scoring champion in 1986, 2-time slam dunk contest champion 85 and 90, and is part of the 75th anniversary team. Probably should have been part of the 50th, but it is what it is. At least he's on there now. And his number 21 is retired with the Atlanta Hawks, averaging 24 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, scoring 26,000 points, almost 27,000 points. He is a Hall of Famer in the NBA as well as college. We all know how versatile, how athletic, how explosive, how dynamic Dominique Wilkins was in his prime, playing alongside Doc Rivers at one point in time, Spud Webb. Trying to figure out who was even on those Atlanta teams right quick. But Atlanta was always in the mix of things. Doc Rivers, Kevin Willis, Tree Riles, Mike McGee. That's who was on that team. But the Atlanta Hawks were always in the mix when it came to the Eastern Conference playoffs, but they always faced that Boston Celtics always stood in the way. Always stood in the way. Unfortunately, Dominique Wilkins did suffer a terrible Achilles injury that kind of took all his finesse and athleticism right there. But best years were, of course, Atlanta. His best year in Atlanta, points-wise, you could say, was 30.3 in the 1985-86 season. Wasn't really, what kinds of biggest, he was a big rebounder. Not really the biggest assist. I think his highest rebound average was 9.0, along with 25 points in the 90-91 season. I think his highest assist average was 3.8 in the next season, 91-92 season. Playoffs, he was a decent playoff performer, 31.2 in 1988. But they just had trouble getting past teams like the Boston Celtics as well. Let's see what records he does hold. He does hold free throws made in the game with no misses, 20 for 23 against the Bulls. Consecutive free throws in the game, 20 same game. One out of 8 players in NBA history averaged at least 25 points per game for 10 consecutive seasons. That list is Jerry West, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, Shaq, AI, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. I think he has the most points scored in Game 7 at 47. They lost. Field goal attempts 4-game series against the Pistons in 1986. And field goal attempts for an All-Star game, 16. It was broken by Glenn Rice. So that's Dominique Wilkins right there. I think this video is going a little bit too long, but I don't care. I am really talking today. Next on the shooting guard list is Pete Maravich, a.k.a. Pistol Pete. Had to put him on here. I feel like he's being forgotten a little bit. Like, it's not really talked about that much, but also he didn't play too long. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks in 1970 out of LSU, another LSU alumni. First round, third overall pick in 1970. Only played 4 years with the Hawks. He played the rest of his years with the Jazz and then 1 year with the Celtics as well. He's a 5-time All-Star. He only got 1 All-Star, 2 All-Stars with the Atlanta Hawks. The rest with the Jazz. Didn't get really a first team, or he got a second team with the Hawks. He's part of the rookie first team in 1971. Was not a scoring champion with the Hawks, but with New Orleans. But he is part of the 50th and 75th anniversary team. Number is retired, 44, by the Hawks. I think he's a Hall of Famer in college and also as the Naismith Memorial. Averaging 24 points a game, 4 rebounds and 5 assists, 15,000 points. Like I say, he only played 10 years. Probably the precursor to like people like Steve Nash, people like Steve Nash ain't playing no more, but people like that really passed that ball. And of course, he was a scorer as well. I would say he had trouble trying to fit in with Atlanta in the beginning because they had Lou Hudson in the backcourt, but I guess it worked out well in the beginning for them. But second year he kind of dipped with his scoring. I think his first year with Atlanta he scored 23. That's his rookie year. Then went down to 19. Then went back up to 26. And went up again with 27 points in his last year in Atlanta. It's probably his best year. And Atlanta was 26 points and almost 7 assists. They did not record steals or blocks during this time or even 3-point field goal percentage as well. Playing in 79 games. See here. But yeah, that was probably the best season with them. Oh, they could actually say this last season with the Hawks was probably his best season of individual accomplishments. But they would miss the playoffs that last season. But I think he was. Let's see here. Traded. Yeah, he was traded from Atlanta to the Jazz. And where he finished, well, he didn't finish. He finished his career about the Boston Celtics, but he pretty much did most of his work in Utah as well. He only went to the playoffs twice with Atlanta, 3 times with Atlanta. Career playoff average was 27.7. Yeah, I'm reading this now. He only went to the playoffs 3 times with Atlanta. Didn't go to the playoffs with the Jazz. Went 1 time with Boston, and that was pretty much it as well. So that's Pistol Pete. Now, the last one might be, I don't know. I think most of their good players played in the past. Atlanta you could say is a pit stop of a team as well. But I had to put at the point guard position Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers played for Atlanta from 1983 to 1991. He was drafted 2nd round, 31st overall pick out of Marquette. Let's see here. Got 1 All-Star on his resume with Atlanta. That's pretty much it. Did win the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award in 1990. But that was pretty much it. He only averaged 10 points a game, 5 assists and 1 steal. That's pretty much it. Doc Rivers was, I guess he was decent, but I was trying to look at the other point guards that played from Atlanta. I don't know. I bet there's some that I can't think of right now at the top of my head. But anyways, that concludes my list for now. Actually, go back to Doc Rivers. I think his best year, points-wise, was 15.2 his last year in Atlanta. And he did average 2.4 steals for most of his career. His best year assists total average-wise was actually in 1986-87 year at 10 assists per game, averaging 12 points a game as well. So, and he finished his career with the Clippers, then New York, then San Antonio. Playoffs, basically almost the numbers are identical to the regular season as well. But there's plenty of, as far as the best player to ever play for the Atlanta Hawks, I guess you could say anywhere from Dominique to Bob Pettit. Maybe. But I want to give out some honorable mentions because there's a lot. Steve Smith, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Joe Johnson, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Mike Bibby. Trying to think of those Atlanta teams. Glenn Robinson, Tony Two coach. Atlanta was just, when it got to the 2000s, not to break it up, but when it got to the 2000s, you guys can remember that far back. To 2000, after Dikembe left and I think Steve Smith left, they just went downhill. They was always a bottom feeder of a team until at least 2008. So I can barely remember anybody who played on that team up until 2008. But I'm trying to figure out. Kyle Korver is another one. I remember that one year they had 4 All-Stars from one team. With I can't think of the other point guard. He was on the Bucks and won a championship with the Bucks a couple years ago. I forgot his name. He also said something ridiculous about saying James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade, but I can't think of his name right now. He used to play on Atlanta. He played on Atlanta, Indiana, Minnesota, and then got the ring with Milwaukee. I forgot his name. Had a brother, Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague's another one. But I think this video went on a little bit too long. Longer than I wanted it to go. So anyways, tell me what you guys think. Especially for the Atlanta Hawk fans out there.